Welcome back, lottery fans. We are now just a couple of days away from the new year, so it's time to go ahead and do our group rundown numbers for January 2020. For those of you who haven't done group numbers before, just a quick reminder. Basically, I do a pick 3 rundown. I'm going to do a pick 4 tomorrow, where I do a rundown that's good for any state or any country. If you have a pick 3 or a pick 4 lottery, you can use these numbers. The idea being that if it's one rundown, one set of numbers, we all play them together, and if they hit, then we can all celebrate winning together. Simple as that. So as I said, this is going to be for any state or country. If you have a pick 3 lottery, you can do this, and these good numbers will be good for all of January 2020. So all the way through the first month of the new year. As always, play responsibly, but you can play these as little or as many times as you like, depending on how many drawings you have per day or drawings per week you have. Alright, so for our group numbers, as you know, I like to go ahead and pick numbers that are relevant to the topic in mind. In this case, January 2020, as it's the start of the new year. I focused around the new year and the past year and numbers around that. And the number I came out with was a 342. Now, this was a very interesting number. To give you a little bit of hint, if you follow the traveling numbers, you might enjoy this number. So 342 actually represents the number that was drawn the most out of all the pick 3 lotteries last year. So I tallied up every single pick 3 lottery drawing, and 342, the box number 342, is the one that showed up the most out of my records. So I figured I'd go ahead and we'd base our very first group rundown for 2020 on the most popular number of last year for the box numbers. As I said, this is a box number. I didn't look at the straight numbers yet, but I'll do a follow-up video showing all the popular numbers for the entire year last year. So definitely subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on that one. And of course, give me a thumbs up if you like these group numbers. Alright, so for the rundown we're going to go ahead and do a flip mirror rundown. And I'll show you how to do that rundown. Then we'll use the mirror numbers for the translated grid, and then we'll pick out our 6 numbers that we'll play for our group numbers. So to do the flip mirror rundown, we take that 342 and we put it down the center column of our base grid. Now you can get this pick 3 rundown worksheet from lotterypredictor.com. It's in the resources section. Just go to the menu on lotterypredictor.com, go to the resources section. You'll see all of our rundown worksheets there, so you can go ahead and download those completely for free so you can do these rundowns yourself. So we take that 342 and we put that in the center column. Now to do the flip number on the left hand column, what we do is we look up on our flip numbers down here. We look up each number on the top line. The one underneath it is our flip number. So we start with that 3. There's on the top line there's a 3, underneath it's a 6. We put a 6 to the left of the 3. Next up is 4. One underneath is a 7, so we put a 7 to the left of the 4. And finally a 2. One underneath is a 5, so we put a 5 to the left of the 2. Mirror number, it's the same process, just using our mirror numbers, which are on the left hand side of our rundown worksheet here. We got the 3 on the top line, one underneath it's an 8, so we put an 8 to the right of the 3. 4 is a 9, put a 9 to the right of the 4. And finally 2 is a 7, so put a 7 to the right of the 2. So that's our base grid. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to get our transit grid. And you can use either flip numbers or mirror numbers. But for this group rundown, I'm going to go ahead and use our mirror numbers again. So we're going to take every single number that we put in our base grid, look up the mirror number for it, put it in the corresponding spot on the translated grid. So we'll start with the top left, which is a 6. The mirror number of 6 is a 1, so we put a 1 in the top left on the translated grid. A 3 is an 8, so put an 8 in that column. And finally an 8 is a 3, so put a 3 in there. 7 is a 2, 4 is a 9, 9 is a 4, 5 is a 0, 2 is a 7, and finally 7 is a 2, like so. So there's our base grid and our translated grid. Now in terms of the 6 numbers that we're going to pull out, we're going to pick 6 from our base grid, and we're going to pick 6 from our translated grid. And the pattern that I'm going to use is one of the most common patterns I use. We're just going to go with a straight horizontal across from each of the grid. That way we get a number from our base number and our flips and mirrors across the board there. So let me show you how we do that. So we'll start on the top line on our base grid. We take this 638 and we're going to put that as our first number, 638. Next line down is a 749. So we'll take that one as our second number. And finally the last number on our base grid is going to be a 527. So that rounds off our 3 numbers from our base grid. 527. Translated grid, we're going to go ahead and do exactly the same again. We're going to take that same pattern, our 3 horizontals across. That first number becomes a 183. Second number is a 294. And finally a 072. And there you have it. Those are the 6 numbers that we can now play as our group numbers for our January 2020. All right, go ahead and play these numbers. As I said, play responsibly, play them as much as you like. Definitely, if they hit for you or if they win in your state, leave me a comment below. I'd love to hear that feedback from you. And of course, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, because you're going to miss out on lots and lots of great content in January 2020 and all of 2020 if you don't follow and like. All right, that's it. I'll be back tomorrow with our pick 4 group numbers. And then going into the new year, got a lot of new content, a lot of great stuff popping up. So make sure you follow and like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Good luck.